beautiful, and that was staggering to see. So there's an awful lot. Difficult to know really where to start, to be honest.
Oh, I did a name wrong. Sorry. Imek.
You've had
Sorry,
a correction,
Imek.
haven't you?
Another. Well, I don't know if you remember because you didn't you don't have the dictionary with you, right? But here's the question: what is the jargon word for somebody who is depressed? Like this comparison with the crab.
That was the one that was the same as a crab, you said, wasn't it? It's just molted its shell.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
sorry.
can't remember, and unfortunately now
You're not now
can't
fluent in
remember.
Jagan? No, come on.
No. I wish.
Well, here's another question of Elehari. Maybe we can try to revive some jargon words by deliberately importing them into our internet language. So, what about that?
Yeah, I guess that's probably the only way languages survive is they get updated, like you said, if they become relevant to modern times and modern
So
society.
maybe we can make a slang out of it or
Yeah.
something.
Well,
Well,
it won't be real Yagan.
Is that disrespectful? I don't know.
I don't know. I mean, I think there are definitely some. I tell you one expression that I thought a word was really wonderful. They have a word, and I forget what it was, but they have a word to describe a bird perching on a branch,
Yeah.
and that word is the same for a cloud sitting on a hill, and that word is also the same for when you have an illness sitting. You know how sometimes you feel ill,
Yeah.
and you feel like you've got this sort of cloud sitting over your head, so it's kind of perched and not moving.
Yeah.
And that one, I think that would be quite a
Yeah.
good word to. I'll have to look it up.
It's interesting that is kind of similar to what people say about, he's got a dark cloud over him. Yeah. You do learn, study of language is a fascinating
It's
thing because you can see how
fascinating,
independently people come across the same sort of metaphors in their language.
yeah, Paul, next.
Yes, no?
Here a question of Maarten Boerma. The edition of the Voyage of the Beagle does not have these nice stories I heard in the program. Which edition do we use?
Well, we use the Beagle record, we use the Beagle diary, we use the Beagle correspondence. If he wants to go onto Darwin Online on the internet, Darwin Online, then you get.
It has everything there
It
that's been published.
has everything there.
Related to
Yeah,
stuff
it's
that
absolutely
hasn't been
brilliant.
published. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
All right. Let's see.
good to know they're reading and doing their
Yes, absolutely great.
Yeah. Well, a lot of reactions that really found this episode pretty good.
Good.
Best one till now.
Ah.
I hear here.
Yes, I think the thing to remember about the Voyage of the Beagle is sorry to go back, he wrote that afterwards with his notebooks to prompt his memory. So there were some things that he felt were less important later, so didn't include them.
Yeah, he distilled it really from his diaries.
Yeah.
I mean, a lot of them, well, some sections he just copied verbatim out of his diary, but then others he actually adds details into the voyage. But yeah, I quite like the diaries personally.
Yes, I like the diaries as well. Yeah, and some of the letters, of course.
Yeah.
Some of his letters. Yeah.
Question: what are your expectations for the rest of the journey? What is there something you want to learn more, or do you have a question to be answered, or?
Well, I think the Galapagos is going to be very interesting. Of course, we're going to see a lot of changes there. Some good. There are going to be parts of Galapagos that are actually in a better condition than when. Well, perhaps not when Darwin was there, but in the last 100 years anyway, so that will be good, and then there'll be some things that may be a bit disturbing, and I think, well, of course, Australia will be fascinating, and Africa, so I think we've got a lot in store.
It's all going to be good.
It's all going to be good, yeah.
But is there something that you, when you go home to England, to London, that you really want to be answered? That's the one kind of grand question that you hope it will be answered.
Well, I suppose the one grand question for me is what changed this 22-year-old kind of lad, graduate, into a mature scientist, and that happened in 5 years on a boat. And what was it? What were the series of steps that took place in that 5 years that gave him the confidence? Because I think he was quite unconfident, don't you?
Yeah, some aspects. I'm sure he did change a lot by the time he. I mean, he seems to have been quite a gregarious kind of person, and. But yeah, no, I don't think he was particularly unconfident.
Well, I think
it's
there were
difficult
elements.
to.
I think he was quite unconfident. I think he was quite confident socially. I mean, he clearly had friends and got on well with people. You know, I don't think
confident
that
in his
was.
own abilities too, because he was able to accept this position of being come along as the naturalist to go around the world and all this thing. And
well, he wasn't really. He was a sort of companion, wasn't he? Really.
Yeah, but there's quite a lot of expectations on him from his family, from Professor Henslow, from people, from Fitzroy himself, for taking this big risk by taking this guy on board when he could have had all sorts of other established scientists and companions. So
he knew his theory under pressure.
He knew he was good. It's what his father says as well. That that people tell me that you're very clever, and people did realise that he was very clever.
His father didn't, and that's crucial, I think.
Yeah. I think
his father didn't believe that he was clever.
No.
So he had to prove something.
I think he maybe had to. I think he was lacking in confidence. That's my feeling.
What is not in the episode? It's about Fitzroy and his relationship to Jemmy Button. You know probably something about it.
Yeah. Well, I mean, clearly Jemmy Button and Fitzroy, and I gather the rest of the crew, they were all very, very fond of Jemmy Button, and I think they wanted him to come back to England, and they were very surprised. That was probably a big moment, actually, Jemmy Button saying, "No, I won't come back." And
I think he probably secretly really wanted him to say,
Yeah.
"Take me home again."
Yeah.
Because he got.
How old was he, Jimmy Button? What was his age?
He was only they had to guess his age because they didn't know the age of it. But he was young when they first got him. He was only 13, 14, I think.
So
he was a boy,
yeah.
and then so a young man when they dropped him off.
So he maybe a bit of a son to Fitzroy.
Yeah, maybe, yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
And there's might be also a relationship between the suicide of Fitzroy and Jemmy Button.
2 weeks after Jemmy Button died. So there may have been a connection there, but we don't know.
Practical question: how many time is there between the broadcast and the filming? Well,
it varies.
It varies. Yeah, we know it all. It's like I think 3 weeks, something like that.
2 weeks.
Yeah.
And now it's a little bit longer now. I think we're filming episodes now that will be coming out in February, aren't we?
Something like that.
So
there's a slight gap over Christmas and New Year, so things are going.
So
I know it's complicated, but yeah.
Right.
For us too.
I have a question. Is the lady's DNA taken for the DNA project from several episodes ago? So the DNA with Spencer Wells, he made this
Rio
test.
de Janeiro.
And the question is, did we take the DNA of this lady? Do you know? No.
No.
Do you think she would have consented to something like that?
We thought that she would. Oh yes, and just something to add about the filming. We do actually film episodes that are sort of happening right now, so some of it's done as a pre-shoot, and then some of it's actually very concurrent.
Right. Let's see what we have else. What's actually the episode about in about a week? What will it be?
The next coming episodes?
Yeah.
I believe is us sailing through the Straits of Magellan.
Or the Horn. The Horn.
That too. I think it's when that area where we left a few weeks ago, sailing through the Strait of Magellan around Cape Horn. It should be very good.
Yeah.
Here, well, not a question but a statement of Martijn Beagle said though that Mr. Button probably was a host for the important new diseases since having him travel over 20,000 nautical miles. So maybe he just was one of the reasons that that the other Yagan Indians disappeared. Could it?
It is possible, yeah, because they were vaccinated. They did have an understanding of problems like that because they vaccinated them against smallpox when they came back, and that's actually how boat memory died back in England.